Good evening. Tonight on Debate Amongst Friends, we will talk about the NBA Finals, our keys to Game 3, LeBron James, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. Starting now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the sixth edition of Debates Among Friends, live on Mixlr under the name Debates Among Friends and our Facebook affiliate underneath the same name. I am known as the Professor, and always ready to drop some knowledge is the Doctor. Doctor, we have Game 3 coming up tonight. Are you ready to debate about this tonight?
Get some action here.
Well, I mean, it's been quite the roller coaster if your name is LeBron James.
Yes.
You went from many of the people out there saying that the Cavaliers are going to win it to being down 0-2 heading into tonight. We're going to go into some predictions in a little bit, even though the game's going to be starting soon. But we just wanted to highlight some points regarding the first two games. So let's just get ourselves started.
Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The Cavs came out, played un-Cav-like, but more Eastern Conference-like, I would say. Would you agree with that?
I will actually agree with that. I would say that for the first game, they played a lot better than they did the second game. I would definitely say that was a lot more competitive the first game. The second game, it was like no one got off the bus. No one
There
got
was
out.
There was a second game.
I see what you did there. Good job, sir.
I think I skipped. I went out to dinner. Then I feel like I skipped from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. and went straight to Game of Thrones.
That's
yeah, I don't remember Game 2, but in all seriousness, Game 1, and most credit to you, of course, Sean Livingston coming up huge in Game 1, and after the game, I heard Lebanon James say, Sean Livingston came out and beat us. We have to make sure we game plan for him.
I don't think it worked that well because the next game it was Draymond Green.
Well, they did plan for Sean Livingston. Apparently, they put all their resources, all their eggs into stopping Sean Livingston.
But that's not the point of winning a basketball team championship, to design a game plan around one person. You already have the game plan around two people for Golden State. Their names is Klay Thompson and Steph Curry.
Absolutely.
And
Game 1, they came out 8 for 27 and only scored 20 points for Game 1. That's so crazy to me. And you have to stop Sean Livingston?
And Steph still hasn't went off yet. In fact, he didn't need to go off because they had Draymond Green going off.
And that's why I worry about tonight for the Cavs, because Steph Curry threw his mouthpiece in Game 2. And if he threw the mouthpiece, sir, I think he's getting fed up with missing all these shots, being in foul trouble. I think Game 2 he was in foul trouble, so
he got in 4 quick fouls.
I really think they're going to go after him tonight, man, and they might have to open this one up. But that was my prediction, which we'll get into later on. I felt they were going to win 3 straight. Cavs win 1, then they close out. But in my opinion, though, losing to Sean Livingston in this case, and then getting beat Game 2 by Draymond Green, who, he was on fire out there, bro.
He was on fire. So for the series, Draymond Green is 50% from 3. 50% from 3.
Max, he got paid. He's worth every penny. He's one of those guys that you look and say, hey, he got paid well-deserved pay, and you're happy he got paid because he's such a grinder.
Absolutely.
You know? And
let me tell you what the craziest part about that, though, is?
Steph
Curry's second on the team in three-point shooting in the finals with 43%. 44 if you rounded up.
That's so crazy.
So
but he's going to step up, though.
But it goes back to what I was telling you, and I was telling many of the other individuals that we affiliate ourselves with outside of the basic among friends. And shout out to everyone else who we talk to on Facebook as well.
Absolutely.
Golden State doesn't necessarily need to beat you by the 3.
They don't. And the only thing,
but Cleveland now does.
And that's what we would have to debate, because I just don't think they have the weapons to shoot threes and really match any team in the NBA. I mean, let alone nobody's going to match the Warriors, obviously 3 for 3. I don't even know how they try, which we talked about last week or before the series started.
But
there's no matching.
But this is where it clouds so many, air quotes, Cavaliers fans.
Oh, God.
Because of what they did during their run to the finals and how they dominated the first 2 rounds and allowed Toronto to win 2 games. Once again, the fix was in, no matter how you say it.
Well, those Cavs fans are dwindling in the win, I mean, there are no Cavs fans. Can we said this already. There are no real Cavs fans. There might be a few. I put the picture of Mark Price up there on Facebook. Most people don't know who he is. One guy said, "Oh, what about this point guard?" I said he played there for 3 years, and then he went to the Bulls. Ron Harper. He's like, Ron Harper's way better than Mark Price. I said, well, Mark Price played in Cleveland for over 10 years. Mm-hmm. You're saying that he's a better Cav, or is he a better player? He was a Bull much longer than he was a Cav. So Mark Price is the ultimate Cav here. You know what I mean? But I just can't believe people would even consider themselves fans, but that's another point. The key is here, somewhere in the world right now, David Blatt has a Stella in his hand, and he is laughing his butt off because the coach that LeBron wanted, and I read an article earlier on Bleacher Report, shout out to the Bleacher Report, that said Tyronn Lue never saw himself being in this position. And it could be and that could be any way you want to slice it, whether that be head coach this year, whether that be down 2-0 in the finals, whether that be getting stepped over by Allen Iverson. He probably never saw himself in any position.
Shout outs to the answer. But no, I completely agree with you. I mean, this is what we always talked about when it comes to LeBron James, his legacy, and how influential he is when it comes to management decisions.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. Don't get me wrong.
Because let's look at it right now. If they was up 2-0 right now, this wouldn't be a problem. We wouldn't be talking about this right now. And all those Cleveland fans would be sitting there. Will be sitting there on their computers typing away about the glory that is LeBron, a.k.a. not that pissant Lebanon James.
Yes, and I mean, we're going to definitely get into LeBron as a singular player later on, but I mean, I think you have to really look at the chemistry of the players, the chemistry of the team. Now, again, we talked about the Eastern Conference and how it's just like teams in the East are just not built. They're not built to win championships, and we always talk about that. And the Cavs, which I'm really still to this very moment not understanding why they're not playing Mozgov, why they're not playing some of the other players, and the people that they wanted to play last year, Richard Jefferson and some of those other veterans, are getting to play. Even Richard Jefferson starting tonight, for Kevin Love.
In fact, let's segue real quick and talk about Kevin Love, because he's been a hot topic.
He has been. I mean, hot topic meaning disappointment.
Well, of course. I mean, here are Debates Among Friends, sponsored by Stella Artois and Not Your Father's Ginger Ale. Make sure you pick it up at your local grocery store. Shout out to Stella. He's been a massive disappointment. In fact, this was the argument that everyone made over the summer last year, was the fact that the Warriors won because LeBron didn't have Kevin Love and Kyrie Irving. Well, he has them. See, last year, I think people didn't want to give Kyrie Irving the credit, and that's something that we're gonna go into more, because I think Kyrie deserves a lot more credit than he's getting, and in fact, somebody said he was overrated, and we're definitely gonna get to that. Overrated. Yeah, we're gonna get to that. Overrated. Wow. But
I think Kevin Love at this point is really the one who should get the overrated tag because as you mentioned, I think you mentioned this a lot. He was a big fish
In a
in a small
small
pond
pond
in
out in
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Yeah, I mean, he must have been out there Dwight Howarding the rebounds because he was the only one grabbing them, and now it's like he don't even feel like I feel like he doesn't even go in the block anymore at all.
Nope.
Like he doesn't even go anywhere near the paint. Now he just kind of stays back because he doesn't know if LeBron's going to jive or maybe that's what it is. Him and LeBron just don't work together like they thought they would.
Well, the problem is that he became too three happy, and
He did.
he's a great shooter. He's a pretty darn shooter.
Yeah.
And here at Debates Among Friends we try to avoid using vulgarity here, but
Sure.
he's a pretty
Absolutely.
darn good shooter. But
I think
it's one of the major habits that a lot of basketball players face. Whether it's I want to keep shooting 3-point shots, or I just want to be someone to break people's ankles and do what people do on the N1 mixtapes all the time.
Right.
Shout
Shout out to Hot Sauce. Hot Sizzle.
My man. Actually, shout outs to the air up there. One of the best dunkers I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. But I mean, with Kevin Love, I just feel like he went from a guy that was definitely a power forward to now he looks like a small forward, and like they should switch. Him and LeBron should just switch. LeBron should go to the 4 and he should go to the 3 because
but we talked about that off camera though.
But see, that's where the problem is though, because LeBron, and we're gonna get to him because he's not an A+ player.
Everything is just wrapping around to the major debate that we're gonna get to.
Yes.
So,
well, we could definitely talk about the Warriors for a little bit. I want to touch on Kevin Durant for 2 minutes later on in here too, but
that's we could definitely hit on that. So you want to hear some interesting stats?
Sure.
Do you know? Do you know?
Hilarious.
The free throw to field goal ratio actually favors Cleveland, and that's the only major 4 factors of this series that they're really good at.
And that's not good in this series because in all the other series, that would have been perfect. You get to the line against Toronto, you get to the line against any of those other teams.
Yep.
Atlanta, all of those other teams. But against the Splash Bros, where you're shooting
the Splash Bros though, and that's the major crux of this argument. It's not even against the Splash Brothers.
But there's still, you can't say that because you can't say
against the Warriors.
Only reason I can't say
that.
Only reason I can't say that is because the threat, Steph Curry and Klay Thompson being on the court, period. They don't have to touch the ball the whole first quarter. Of course, Steph is going to touch the ball because he's point guard, but they could not have the ball. Draymond Green could bring the ball up the whole game.
He can.
And
they have so many people who can bring the ball up the court.
Absolutely. So let's just say Draymond Green and Sean Livingston bring the ball up the whole game. Steph Curry and Klay Thompson just run screens the whole game. Do you know how many backdoor cuts will be open for Azili, Bogut, Green? It would be endless backdoor cuts. It would just be backdoor cut mania because they would be so worried all the picks and the screens.
I thought you were going to go somewhere else with that,
but
I'm so disappointed in you, Doctor.
Yes.
The first please of the podcast is Dr.
Bless. Dr. Bless. I'm just saying.
But here's the craziest part, though. Steph Curry hasn't attempted a free throw.
Because he's doing a lot. They do a lot of running, and I give them a lot of credit because they're in some great shape. And I mean, I'm not talking about just basketball shape. I'm talking about their strategy. Like their whole game plan is based on Chip Kelly stamina here. They're running around.
I was gonna say Mike D'Antoni.
No, because it would be more like what Ray Allen and freaking Reggie Miller used to do. Running back and forth. I mean, that's a lot of running, bro.
Hey,
you gotta run.
Hey, you said 2. Who's that third person, Doctor? Who is that third person that's just as well as regarded as those 2?
I mean, their coach Steve Kerr,
your boy of the new age bad boy Pistons.
Oh goodness,
Richard "Rip" Hamilton.
And he did do a lot of running, but I mean, Steve Kerr did a lot of running. Richard Hamilton definitely did. But the only thing about Richard Hamilton is he was really good at the mid-range jumper too. I don't think people gave him credit for the mid-range.
It's still a lost start.
Yeah, he's really good at the mid-range, but I think the Warriors are beating the Cavs. There's no question about it. They're just beating them, not with so much the 3, but just with team basketball. they're doing a good job with LeBron. First game, they were doing the whole pick and the whole, I guess, pick and roll. Hey, we're going to switch man. You take LeBron, I'll do this. But it really wasn't working for them. And I guess that's where the Cavs have to really change up their style here and play more basketball. And I'm going to say more through Kyrie Irving because in game one, clearly Kyrie Irving was the leading scorer and the game was closer at least. I mean, he had 23, 26 points. LeBron didn't contribute as much on the point scoring, but they were at least the game was closer. My goodness.
Well, and that's what the beginning of the argument was all about. Like, the first game was exactly what we call it. It was a game.
Yes.
You know, they lost by 15, but it was a game.
And you play to win the game, by the way. And right now,
shout out to the coach for that one.
Yes, the Cavs are not playing like they want to.
Game two, they didn't play to win the game. In fact, in the series, I mean, Golden State is +6 in blocks.
And that's not supposed to happen against the King. That's not supposed to happen.
Andrew Bogut has 5 blocks in 2 games, and all 5 of them came in game 2.
And I don't know if you remember my analogy of the Mario Brothers, but was he Princess Peach? Wasn't he?
You called him Princess Peach.
So Peach is out there.
Peach is out there throwing sheeps, and for those who play Super Smash Brothers, I mean, she's throwing sheeps and radishes and hitting people with parry to parasol. I mean, she's just doing everything out there right now.
Shout out to Peach. I mean, I doubt he's there next year, and this is a good way to do a quick segue to what I was going to mention about Kevin Durant because I was talking about the Warriors.
Absolutely.
And, I was reading a report that was basically saying, why would the Warriors go after Kevin Durant, and change the whole mindset of that team? And I thought that was a good question to bring up on the podcast because we are talking about the finals. We're talking about the Warriors. They're in the finals. Why change that nucleus of players outside of maybe getting rid of Bogut, a.k.a. Princess Peach? Maybe.
Well, and it's funny because he actually answered that question. And to summarize, he basically said it's one thing to try to get the best talent that's out there. Right. It's totally another thing to try to mess up something that's working so well.
Right, because that's what it is. And I feel like you go out there and get Kevin Durant. I mean, and this is no disrespect to Kevin Durant, of course, but
no, he's top 3 in the whole world.
And it's like this is blatant. Well, no, it's not blatant because I don't know if this is more of. This is not like Klay Thompson and Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Steph Curry saying, "Hey, Kevin, yeah, right, come over here."
Shout out to Kevin Hart.
Yeah, like they're not saying that, but the Warriors front office is like, "Hey, we're gonna go after Kevin Durant because that's just I just don't get it, because you have Draymond Green, you have some good players. I just don't see Kevin Durant's style fitting in there. That's kind of what happened with the Spurs with LaMarcus Aldridge.
Exactly. And I was just about to make that same point.
Yeah, to slow you down. I could see him going. I can't see him going there because of what they have going on. It would just be 3 solo players playing, freaking ISO ball.
But we said that about Miami, and I mean they was 50% in finals.
But see, those 3 guys had different styles, and that's the good thing, and that's why it was good that Chris Bosh developed that 3-point shot. He
always had that. Well, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, I don't know if he always had it. He had a mid range. I was gonna say I don't think he always had that 3-point.
No, he's lethal in mid range, but I mean, he was playing for a team where he didn't have to constantly shoot 3-point shots. He was no Andre Bargnani.
He is no Andre. That's true. He's not. Could you imagine if they would have played together? It might have been a nice little.
It would have been a really good tandem. Yes, absolutely.
Non-defensive tandem, but it would have been a good offensive tandem.
I mean, Bosh can play defense. That's not the issue.
He would have had to make up for Bargnani's lack of defense, and I think that
exactly.
The neutralizer.
I mean, it always comes back to when we grew up watching basketball. The 4 was usually the enforcer.
Yeah,
the 5 was always the rim protector.
Right. But we're not doing that anymore. I mean, except for
there's no such thing as a 4 and 5 anymore. There's some legit 5s out there now.
I mean, only two people. Let's see. Let me think if there's anyone else. Only two legit possible rim protectors at five would be Dwight and freaking DeAndre Jordan. That's the only two I can think of. Um, I do like the emergence of some of the players, but like you said, there's no legit fours and fives anymore. It's just, hey, you're tall enough. I think you can play center because you're that big. Let's just throw you out there. You know what I mean? Like that's it.
Absolutely,
But
absolutely.
but getting back to, I just want to throw that Kevin Durant thing in there because I thought that was pretty crazy that they would mess up what they have here because they're gelling. They might get a draft pick in there that they might put in. Hey, you get rid of Bogut. You re-sign maybe Harrison Barnes. You re-sign Iguodala. See who somebody wants to take a pay cut, and you kind of move on because they're a really really good team.
Absolutely.
But moving on from the Warriors back to
The
the
Cleveland Cavaliers.
everyone's favorite team, the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Not
So
mine.
we talked about Kevin Love, and I think Kevin, he's definitely probably this is probably his last year. If they don't win, there's no way Kevin's coming back.
Well, I don't think he's a free agent. LeBron's a free agent.
Well, LeBron's going to re-sign for probably 30, 35 million, whatever it is, whatever the cap's going up to. LeBron's signing for that. LeBron will walk into the office and say, "I think we should trade Kevin Love and or Kyrie Irving." The way I'm looking at this, I could see them potentially making a run at Chris Paul, even though I doubt Doc.
I was just about to say that too.
Yeah, I doubt Doc Rivers is like, okay, I like Kyrie, but he's no Chris Paul. He's no Chris Paul.
I'm not gonna lie. Like, if we can get Chris Paul, and I'm saying this as a Knicks fan, I mean, I'd be so ecstatic.
So I think the Knicks would probably have a better chance of getting Kyrie Irving.
I don't want him.
You don't want Kyrie?
I really don't.
Why?
I'm sorry. He goes back into the same thing that I mentioned earlier about the different phases of games and doing what you're supposed to do. Kyrie has a really bad habit of over dribbling. A really, really bad habit of over dribbling.
Well,
I mean, I've seen many clips, and I've seen it live as well too on TV, where I'm watching the shot clock going down.
It is going down.
And
Yeah.
going down.
He's
And
still
it hits 10 seconds, and it's going from 9 to 8 to 7. And you know what I'm still seeing? He still has the flipping ball in his hand. Dancing.
Dancing, yeah, but he's usually doing pretty well though. I mean, and he has good skill. I can't say
No. He's skilled. I'm not saying that he's not skilled, and I won't be the first one to say that he's not skilled. I mean, he is a dookie. Like, let's just stop it.
When's the last time the Knicks had somebody like that, a point guard? If ever.
Marbury.
And they were pretty successful with
He
Marbury.
was very successful with them.
That's the point guard that they need. They need somebody that can come in there, give some splash, some stardom. They need a big name point guard. And I mean, no disrespect to like Jeremy Lin or anything like that, but they need somebody. They should. The Knicks should really go after, like, if they're looking to get rid of him, Jeff Teague would be a pretty good option. I think we talked about Mike Conley.
Mike Conley as well too, who you really love on NBA 2K.
I do. I think Conley is a really good, solid starter. He's going to just manage the game. Of course, if you can get a Chris Paul, of course you go after Chris Paul. But they would have to give up, like, it would have to be Paul from Carmelo or something crazy like that.
Well, remember they want to play together, so.
That's why I think they trade them all, and somehow they figured out how to get them on.
I mean, as long as they don't trade off like these young players, like that's the only problem that my Knicks have is the fact that they keep trading off these really good young players.
And that's the only reason I would think that the Knicks would either get a Kevin Love or a Kyrie Irving. I mean, as a Knicks fan, who would you rather see in the Knicks jersey out of those two?
It's actually pretty funny just to segue back to the finals.
Uh-huh.
I'm looking on the ESPN app. Shout out to ESPN.
Yeah.
And there is an article, and here's the headline of the article, and this is gonna make you laugh.
Uh-oh.
It says, "The Cavs must get serious or get laughed off the court."
I mean, it's true though. It's really, really true.
And once again, it's not because of the first game that everyone is saying it.
That
It's
second
mainly
game.
the second game. It was that second game. That second game was so glaring. I mean, we had people coming up with parodies about what LeBron James done
Yeah.
right after the press conference, and he went back into the locker room, and he is getting on his players, and is
Oh,
getting on
yes.
Tyronn Lue, and he is saying, "I'm the new coach now," with the subtitle that says "New Coach LeBron James."
I am the coach now.
And those who posted it on Facebook, I'm giving you a big shout out because that was hilarious, and you're amazing that you did it. Thank you.
Now, we're gonna get back to that, but just let's answer the question on the Knicks. Would you rather have Kevin Love or Kyrie Irving if they wanted to trade specifically for Carmelo?
I'll take Kyrie Irving.
You wouldn't even want Kevin Love.
No.
I'm talking about. I mean, we're talking about Kevin Love with Porzingis might not be bad, but I think
Kyrie Irving. Kevin Love can go back to UCLA for all I care.
Wow. She probably will. He really.
And yes, the professor is throwing shade at Kevin Love. And Kevin Love, you listen to the podcast right now. Step it up, and I'll shut my mouth. Get out there and play.
You know what happens the last time you did that?
And yes, I have a really bad habit of lighting fires under NBA players that apparently listen to the podcast before it's actually out there. Luol Deng, I am calling you out as well.
Yeah, man, that's hilarious. But with the Cavs, they do need to step it up.
Kevin Love, get back out there on the court. Your team needs you.
He's out tonight, and
I don't care. You better do some Willis Reed.
We can't expect Cavs to win Game 3 starting Richard Jefferson.
I really think that the Cavs may actually win it tonight.
I don't. And
we're going way too far ahead in schedule. Let's just hit this right now because we're talking about it. Let's talk prediction. The game starts in half an hour. As soon as this podcast come off, who do you got? Why?
I got the Warriors winning. I said that they would win the first 3. I think this game will be a lot closer, but I guess not having Kevin Love in the lineup is going to hurt them because what's going to happen is tonight you're going to see J.R. Smith shoot about 20 additional shots because he gets those shots now that Kevin Love is out.
J.R. plus
indeed. So, I mean, Richard Jefferson will take some shots, but really it's going to come down to J.R. Smith because it's Kyrie. No, it's LeBron, then Kyrie, then whoever else, which would be Kevin Love usually. But it's going to be J.R. Excuse me. If J.R.'s not hitting, you're going to see another 30-point blowout. But I think
hilarious.
I think it's going to be closer, though. I think the Cavs are going to come out strong. I could see it going like, hey, they can go on like a 12-7 run or 12-5 run or whatever. Something small in which the Warriors will just punch them right back, little jabs, and then Steph Curry will go, 2 or 3 threes in a row, and then Cavs fans will be dead again. But you think they're going to win, though?
I think they're going to win due to many factors.
Don't you say referees.
I'm actually going to say the referees.
Don't you say the referees.
See, you're going to watch the game tonight, and then you're going to watch what's going to happen, and you're going to text me later on. You're going to say, Professor, you were right.
Those damn referees.
Those pissant referees. So that's one factor. Another factor is the home crowd. Being able to be home, being able to play at home, a lot of those players, just like J.R. Smith.
No. They're going to be out of the game, man.
Might play a little bit better. I mean, and actually, by the way, did you notice that they finally played Timothy Mozgov in the fourth quarter?
I turned it. Oh, remember, I skipped game 2, the second half of game 2, to watch Game of Thrones.
They played Timothy Mozgov in the fourth quarter.
That's so terrible. That's why, I mean, he should play. I could see him playing more tonight, though, because they're going to need some rebounding there. And
They should have did after game 1.
Yeah. But I just don't see the Cavs winning this one. I see them winning the next one. And I mean, the way they're playing like they're going to get swept. But I'm giving them a little more credit than that because it's LeBron James.
Yeah, Mozgov only played 14 minutes.
Probably the whole playoffs.
The whole series.
I'm talking about that's probably the most he played the whole playoffs because I really haven't seen him much at all. But that's how I'm going. We're going with the Warriors. My initial saying was Warriors in 6. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if it's going to go 6. It might go 5. I mean,
and this is why I'm saying this is the game that the Cavaliers get a little bit of that, hype and swag back a little bit before they, their dreams go up in the air and they're like, maybe we could win this. And then all of a sudden game 4 happens and boom.
I just want everybody to know that SMH, I am shaking my head no. Because
But my last factor is LeBron James is going to go out there and he's just going to keep driving the ball.
he is, but
He started the game doing that, and then he stopped.
LeBron gets tired. That's what I'm saying. We talked about this in a previous podcast. Like I said, he hasn't realized that he's getting older yet. But in this particular series and this offseason, he's going to realize that he's getting older. And
Absolutely.
then he's going to realize that the professor was right and he needs to get his post game up and really start working on maybe a fadeaway or a hook or something.
Once again, he doesn't need to develop a fadeaway jump shot a la Kobe or Jordan.
No, I mean,
and
that's
we're
not
going
what
to
I was saying.
segue into that one as well, too, because the Zen Master threw some shade at LeBron James. Kind of a little bit.
It was a Zen Master. It was Steve, freaking Colin Cowherd. It was Steve Kerr. I mean, everybody.
It was everyone. It was everyone.
Yeah, everybody threw some shade at the King. And we were supposed to talk about LeBron, so please, carry on with what the Zen Master said.
So basically, the Zen Master stated that LeBron needs to be more like MJ and stop being like Scotty.
Ooh. And
it was a major debate that we had, going all the way back when we both lived in the Garden State.
Well, Steve Kerr, I think Steve Kerr mentioned that. He mentioned something about that. He said that, well, yes, I guess Steve Kerr was saying what Phil Jackson said, so I guess they were one and the same. But he does have great talent.
He does.
He is a great basketball player. But
all around great basketball player.
Steve Kerr, who, like I said, Phil Jackson said, you can clearly see the flaws in his basketball game.
Absolutely.
That
was giving him a major point.
No low post.
No low post.
No mid-range jumper.
Broke jump shot.
And I like the way Toronto went about playing him, and that's why I said, if anybody watches how Toronto played LeBron, they say, you know what, LeBron, please, we know that you can drive this basketball, dunk, do all this with your hands, all that stuff.
Yell whenever someone put a finger on you, but, that's
you're going to get the foul, but we want you to hit jump shots. Nobody else. Just you. And that's what struggles. Now, Colin Cowherd said that LeBron is not an A-plus player anymore.
I like to be controversial, and I often disagree with people and, disagree but then kind of agree. I fully agree with Colin Cowherd. I don't think he's an A-plus player. I think for years he gotten so embraced based off of his athleticism, and I was actually going to, piggyback on what was said.
Mm-hmm.
He is a great basketball athlete,
yes,
but not a great basketball player.
So let me ask you this. This is going to be probably one of the most controversial questions.
I don't know. I already have 2 basketball players gunning for me, so I'm totally fine with 3.
This is going to light a complete fire into LeBron.
LeBron, if you listen to the podcast right now, get your weight up, get in the post.
I mean, his weight is up. His weight is up. He's just not in the post.
Well, obviously that means his weight is not up because he's not getting in the post.
I mean, he's 6'8", 275. I mean, his weight is up.
Doctor, I am 6 feet, 155, and I'm down the block doing work. Stop it.
Hey,
there is no excuse.
I think being in the block, it's not about your physical stature. It's about this right here, what I'm pointing at right here that the people can't see, and that's
hopefully it's your heart.
It is. It's my heart. Yes. but some other things you need to be in the post too, because you're going to get fouled. 7 out of 10 times. If you're in the.
Are you trying to tell me, Doctor? Are you trying to tell me that LeBron James lacks the stones to go into the post? Because that's what it sounds like to me.
Well, I started with the heart.
He has the heart.
No, he doesn't have the heart.
He doesn't have the huevos?
He doesn't have the heart. Because
Los huevos?
I mean, he's not down there. He might not want to get fouled because when he gets fouled, he's completely lost composure. So it might be that could be it.
I wouldn't say that. I think if he gets fouled hard,
that's what's going to happen. You in the post, you're going to get fouled hard. you're gonna get fouled very hard because he does a lot of pump fakes. So you do that pump fake,
He
and then
doesn't.
somebody gives you a wizard a knee in the back of the
First of
head.
all, he is no Dwayne Wade. Let's just stop it right there. Okay, his pump fakes is more like, hey, I'm just gonna put my head up in the air. Maybe you'll jump for it, maybe not.
Elbow right to the back of the head.
And
You
once
know,
again, I mean, if this was, and this is where we keep talking about, if he played, in those hard-nosed
yeah,
80s and 90s decade,
would have been probably his athleticism would have
he would have
carried him.
been a D-plus player.
No, I don't think.
You
I
want me to
don't.
tell you why? Because if he doesn't grow those los huevos, as you so eloquently spoke,
Mm,
then he won't last because he doesn't have a consistent jump shot.
I think he would be the same player. He would because nobody would have seen anyone that big, that fast, and that with that ability at that time. That's another thing. But they wouldn't have let him. He would have probably got some more injuries because they wouldn't have
He
let
would
him.
have been injured, and that's exactly what I was going to say. He would have been put on his cush.
Yes, and he would have been probably fighting a few times more than
No,
once.
he won't. No, he won't.
He would have had to.
I can't see LeBron getting in no one's faces.
Dennis Rodman come up and clothesline you. You're gonna fight Dennis Rodman.
He's gonna run. He's gonna be in the locker room by the time he gets off.
He would have had no choice but to fight. He would have been fighting with Dennis. There's no question about it.
Talking about crab dribbling, he'll be crab walking back to the locker room trying to avoid Dennis.
My goodness. But the question I was gonna ask you
Yes, the people want to know what the doctor has to ask.
is LeBron the best player in the world?
That is debatable because it depends on what you classify as the greatest player in the world,
Why would people think that LeBron is the best player in the world?
based off his physical attributes. But if you're talking about just basketball talent,
Yes.
overall basketball talent,
Because that's what it should be about.
well, I mean, once again, we talked about this for years. But all we hear are we're LeBron haters. And you know what? Maybe we are, but at the same time, we make a lot of credible points that people want to avoid.
Yeah. And me personally, I don't hate LeBron for the same reason that other people hate LeBron. I don't really hate LeBron at all. I just hate people that, like moths.
I was definitely gonna say fawn.
Yeah, just like stick to him because he's this great basketball player. And don't get me wrong, they did do that with Jordan, but we were really Bulls fans. Bill Winnington, Purdue, Kukoc. You had all
Tony
these
Kukoc.
players. Yeah, you had all these players that were really, really good. Rodman,
Horace Grant.
exactly. Horace Grant, Steve Kerr, Ron Harper, all these players that were on the Bulls. You had something else to admire. But with the Cavs, it's just like, okay, it's LeBron.
There is no
Okay, but he's a great basketball player. But
No, see, from now on Debates Among Friends, we will no longer refer to LeBron James as a great basketball player. We will now refer to him as a great basketball athlete.
So LeBron is very athletically gifted.
Thank you.
He can definitely play this game of basketball. But why do people think he's the greatest basketball player in the world when he doesn't have a jumper? He's not in the post. He can't really hit the three. He has a losing record in the finals. He's not really leading a team. He hasn't really led a team.
He's playing for a conference that's completely weak
And he's playing for his whole career.
with the exception of during the years that the Big Three in Boston.
I'm trying to think of the other teams at that time. I guess the Pistons would have still been in it. But even still, it still wasn't that great. You still had, but see now at that time, even if you looked at it now,
No, because the Pistons won the title, 2004, I believe?
yeah,
Wasn't that the end of LeBron's first season?
I'm just trying to think of the way the teams were built at that time, because they were definitely built a little better at that time to win championships. Now I don't know what the heck is really going on and what these GMs are doing. GMs plus. I don't really know what's happening. I just think that the teams just aren't. They're just not being built.
Well, we could definitely agree that the GMs love to gamble. And when I say they love to gamble is they love to try to put all their eggs in one basket and try to go after these high market free agents. And when they can't land them, now you're stuck with, not even second tier, but you're just like, well, I mean, I have nothing now.
I got to go out and get Trevor Ariza. No disrespect to Trevor Ariza, but that's the way I look at it. Whenever you said that, I immediately thought Daryl Morey going after Chris Bosh, Carmelo, LeBron, whoever else we went over that summer.
And I didn't want to throw shade at your Rockets,
No,
but
you can throw
unfortunately,
shade.
that's the perfect example of a GM and an owner putting all their eggs in one basket to try to go after people, and they get Trevor Ariza.
Yeah, we got Trevor Ariza.
And 15 other small forwards / power forwards on your team.
This is true. But, I mean, I guess that was the question, was just...
So, I'm going to reverse the question back to you, Doctor.
All right.
Do you believe that he is the greatest basketball player in the world?
I don't. I really don't even think he should even be in the same conversation with Michael Jordan and Kobe.
Well, he even admitted that he shouldn't be in the same sentence as Michael Jordan and Kobe.
He shouldn't be, because they were, I mean, and when I say this, I don't want to say that LeBron doesn't work hard.
Oh, no. His work ethic is something that we cannot deny on this show at all.
We can't.
By the way, Debates Among Friends is still sponsored by Stella Ginger Ale, so pick it up at your local grocery store, please. Thank you very much.
But Kobe and Michael Jordan, and we talked about Kareem and other players like those players there, Magic, Larry Bird. As these players got older, they developed. Vince Carter even.
Vince Carter is still developing.
I mean, Vince couldn't shoot no threes when he first came into the league. He literally was all dunks. He had maybe a mid-range, maybe tops mid-range. But now, I mean, he can still
15, 20 feet, yeah.
He can. I mean, he can still dunk, of course, but probably not as hard as he used to. But now he can bang down the three because he's evolved his ability to shoot, and that's just the one thing LeBron,
has not done.
Yeah, he just hasn't done it, and that's
he's been in the league for what, 13 years now?
Yeah, and that's what separates him from those other players. I would even go on the limb to say Kevin Durant is a better player than LeBron.
I can agree with that. Yeah. I can't get mad at that one.
Yeah, Kevin Durant would have to, because he can score, he can play defense, he's evolved. I mean, that's a guy that I want on my team.
And I agree.
Now, I don't know what's going to happen with Kevin Durant. Hopefully he makes a decision that impacts the NBA completely. Whether he stays OKC, leaves OKC, hopefully he just doesn't do anything stupid. But like joining the Cavs, I would be so mad. I would be so mad, bro.
It'll put a huge damper on the concept of free agency bringing more excitement.
Yeah, that would just make me so mad. But I just feel like the Cavs do need to step it up, though, for real. So, we'll see. I mean, the Cavs, LeBron just needs to really, really continue to develop his game, and, that'll make him, and at least the conversation, to be the player of this decade, at least. At least.
No, I can agree with that. And once again, Kevin Durant still has so much more to develop and so much more to do, for the league. And whether or not that's still with OKC, which I still think that he should probably stay, because even though they lost, this was the best I've seen OKC in a long while.
Yeah, I think their role players are much better. Steven Adams, they just need to upgrade their point guard. Their shooting guard. And that's where maybe they go after somebody like Harrison Barnes or somebody like that, and they'd be good. But I think that's really it. But I know we had one more thing to talk about with the Cavs, and that was there was a conversation on Facebook. I won't say my friend's name. It was somewhere between Magic Johnson and Michael Jordan, but we'll just call him MJ, who said, and I quote, LeBron is great.
I see what you did there.
Yes, Kevin Love is okay, I believe he said. And then he said, Kyrie Irving is overrated.
Overrated.
Agree or disagree?
Overrated. So I know who you're talking about, and I seen that posting
by MJ,
by Mr. J.
Mr. J.
And we're not talking about the Joker.
Not at all.
He's no pudding, my friend.
Not even close.
To say Kyrie Irving is overrated, I think it's true to an extent because of the situation.
Because I mean, you have to. I think he would have to keep in mind that Kyrie Irving carried the Cavs while LeBron went to college.
Exactly. Oh,
So,
what?
because that's what he said. That's what his whole idea was. I never got a chance to go to college, so I wanted to go to Miami to make it feel like college. I mean, that's pretty much what it was.
First of all, that's Bush League.
It is, but that's what it is.
Second of all, he obviously needed to grow up.
He did. I mean,
The,
I
the only
don't.
plus, the only plus, and this is real talk, real quickly. The only plus I had about him in Miami is the notion that he was attempting to embrace his villainy.
Yeah, he was.
But he didn't even do that right.
He didn't. But I mean, could you imagine though? I mean, I know we talk about this all the time, and I'm not gonna go too far away from Kyrie, but could you imagine if he left the Cavs? If they get swept, I could see him leaving because that's really embarrassing.
I think if they get swept, there's going to be a
Either
lot
he,
of changes in Cleveland.
yeah, either he's leaving or everybody's gone.
Once again, don't be surprised if LeBron leaves. He's like, you know what? I mean, I tried the old guys.
Young guys are
These
fast.
young guys are just as bad.
Yeah.
They're slower. They're less stronger. And hey,
They're
they're no
not
60
60-minute man, baby. Woo!
Shout outs to Mr. Lethal. You know who you are, sir.
And the Nature Boy. No, but I mean, Kyrie, I don't think he's overrated. I would love to have him in Houston. I mean, I don't care what happens.
Well, once again, any team would love to have him.
Yeah.
That's not the part that's up for debate. The part that's up for debate is the fact that what he brings to the table and can he help lead a team for not only a playoff berth, but potentially lead them towards being to the finals.
I think
So I mean, if you look at it on that scale, then yes, he's very overrated because even though he didn't have a LeBron or Kevin Love with him while LeBron was out in college, quotes,
quote,
which is still the most dumbest thing I ever heard, LeBron James ever said. And he's
terrible.
Oh goodness, I'm
Terrible.
not there either.
No, but I mean, Kyrie, I think with the way they have it set up, I think Kyrie is being looked at as overrated because the tandem of the three isn't working. So if he was able to get the same support that, let's say, Chris Paul has in LA or a Russell Westbrook in OKC, even a Stephen Curry, I think that he would be given a lot more credit because they're running an offense that's suited for those particular players. But I don't feel like the Cavs, I don't know what type of system they're running because I feel like they're not running a system that's beneficial to Kevin Love and Kyrie. It's just really geared towards LeBron. And it's like if LeBron doesn't score, okay, scramble, scramble, scramble. Okay, now Kyrie has to dribble, dribble, dribble. And then, then he has to pass, and then Kevin Love takes an ugly shot.
I'm only laughing because of the
Dribble, dribble, dribble.
special.
Dribble, dribble, dribble.
LeBron James was on it, and he literally said dribble, dribble, dribble,
Dribble, dribble, dribble. No, but I mean, that's ultimately it. What I think here is that I think he's a great player. I don't think he's overrated. I think he's always been a good player. He's just always had to carry the Cavs. Now he doesn't have to carry the Cavs because LeBron is back. But not only is LeBron back, but then they brought in Kevin Love. What an adjustment.
It is. It's a huge adjustment. And the reason why I said that he's overrated based off the circumstances is exactly what you just said. He was the man, and now he's potentially the 2 or 3.
Yeah, so what a third wheel, but I mean, right now Kevin Love's looking so bad.
Oh
that,
boy,
that's
a whole debate by itself. Let's just stop that.
But I mean, that's ultimately it. So keys to victory tonight would have to be somehow the Cavs slowing down the Warriors bench. I mean, but it's tough to say because again, Splash Brothers haven't went off yet. But Clay's been off for the last 4 or 5 games. He's stepped it up in some second half games, but he's been off, in the first half of every game so far. But they really have to watch it because eventually Steph Curry and Klay Thompson are going to go off, and
they're going to go off 50 points together, and once that happens, I mean,
again, if they lose, if the Warriors win tonight,
it's over.
It's over. It's just a matter
even
of
the good people at First Take, Molly, Stephen A. Smith, and Skip Bayless. You know,
Yes.
they even said themselves. I mean, if Golden State wins tonight, it's over on Friday.
It's game time, Kobe.
It's over.
Yeah, it's
And
either
I completely agree with them.
it's
Over.
either four. It's not a matter of when. It's really just a matter of when. It's going to be either sweep. I don't.
Or five.
I don't see the Cavs winning 2 games in a row unless a freak injury happens.
Absolutely.
I really don't. I don't see. I don't know if they can win tonight. They have shown that they are incapable of beating them, and that's just it.
They've shown exactly who they said that they are, and that's a team who was marveled just because they played for a weak conference.
You had them playing against a Warriors team they were out there practicing, bro. Like this is practice to them. They had you see I mean how many turnovers they had? They had so many turnovers and like missed shots. Come on. This series is over if they lose. Mark my
No,
words.
I definitely agree with you.
I want
I
the
do.
I want the people to debate on that.
Oh, which is funny because with the Cavaliers' 32 turnovers in the series so far,
hmm
the Warriors have 29. So I mean, you know, it's not a huge gap in between.
I just think it's
But
when the turnovers happen because I think game one, I believe there were more turnovers by the Warriors, and game two it might have been it could have been even, but I just
I think it was probably even.
yeah I just know that game one the Cavs had a chance, and then again I knew somewhere in that second third quarter it was going to get out of hand, but this game two I mean come
I think the real issue with them was just shot selection, and we're about to close it out too, folks.
yes
But I think it was just more about shot selection. My key to the game tonight for Cavaliers to actually win it this one isn't anyone on the starting lineup or the bench. It's the referees and how they manage the game.
the Cavs have to stop that bench. I don't know how they're going to do it, but
Once,
they
you'll see. You'll see what I mean.
watch it
Don't worry,
watch it be Mo buckets tonight.
Hey. But, ladies and gentlemen, we are running out of time. Thank you very much for tuning in tonight to Debates Among Friends. I hope you had yourself a great time as much as we did. As I said before, my name is the Professor.
And this is the Doctor.
And we're going to leave you off with a new song tonight by JF Beats. It is called Somewhere Else. It's actually pretty tight, so check them out on YouTube under the name JF Beats, and we'll leave you to it. Thank you very much, everyone. Peace and love.
Deuces.
JF